The disappearances began subtly, like whispers in the night, that nobody paid much attention to until they became a cacophony impossible to ignore. It started with Mrs. Henderson, the kind old woman who lived down the street. Days she simply failed to emerge from her house. At first, neighbors assumed she was perhaps unwell, perhaps bedridden with a sudden illness. But as days turned into weeks, there was still no sign of Mrs. Henderson. Unease began to creep into the hearts of the townsfolk. Emily could not shake the feeling of dread that settled over her like a heavy blanket. She watched from her window as neighbors whispered furtively to one another. Their eyes started nervously as if afraid of being overrun. The once vibrant community now felt like a ghost town, haunted by the specter of those who had vanished without a trace. Each day brought news of another disappearance. Mrs. Johnson, the baker, supplied the town fresh bread every single morning, vanished, leaving behind nothing but empty shelves and a sense of loss that hung heavy in the air. Then it was Sarah, Emily's best friend, who failed to show up for the regular coffee date. Her phone ringing unanswered. Her apartment eerily silent as she went to go look for her. With each disappearance, Emily felt herself growing increasingly isolated. This made her paranoid. She could not help but wonder if she was next. Whatever force was behind the vanishings would come for her next. She tried to rationalize it, to convince herself that there must be some kind of logical explanation for what was happening. But deep down inside, she knew the truth was far more terrifying than she dared to admit. She struggled to discern whether the disappearances were connected to the sun's ominous transformation, or if something more sinister was at play. It seemed too much of a coincidence that the vanishings began at the same time as the sun's abnormal behavior. But try as she might, Emily could not shake the feeling that there was something darker lurking beneath the surface, something that defied rational explanation. Desperate for answers, Emily began to investigate the disappearance for herself. She combed through missing persons reports, searching for any clue that might shed light on what could have happened. Has this happened before? The more she searched, the more elusive the truth became, slipping through her fingers like smoke. One evening, Emily sat alone in her dark apartment. A knock sounded at her door. Startled, she rose from her chair and cautiously approached, her heart pounding in her chest. She peered at the people and saw a figure standing on the other side, obscured by the shadows of the night. "Who are you?" Emily called out. Her voice was trembling. There was a moment of silence, and then a familiar voice spoke from the other side of the door. "It's me. It's me, Emily. It's Sarah." Emily's heart leaped with relief as she quickly unlocked the door and swung it open. only to freeze an oar on the side before her. It was not Sarah standing on her doorstep, but a stranger with empty eyes and a smile that sent shivers down Emily's spine. "Come with me, Emily," the stranger said, reaching out with a hand that seemed to shimmer and fade in the dim light. "Come with me, and all your questions will be answered." The cry of fear, Emily slammed the door, shut belted tight. Her heart raced as she pressed her back against the wood. She could hear the stranger's footsteps retreating down the hallway, their echo fading into the silence of the night. For a long, long while, Emily stood there in the darkness, her mind reeling with fear and confusion. She knew she could not stay in this place any longer. She could not risk becoming another victim of whatever malevolent force was at work. With a sense of determination, Emily began to pack her bags frantically, her hands shaking as she stuffed clothes and belongings into a suitcase. She did not know where she was going to go, or what she was going to find when she got there. But she knew she had to leave now. She had to escape this nightmare that had become reality. As she slipped out into the night, leaving behind this town that she once loved, the horrors that lurked within, Emily could not shake the feeling that she was being watched. She was being followed. The unseen eyes were following her every single move. As she disappeared into the darkness, she knew that the truth behind the vanishings would continue to haunt her for the rest of her life.